It started out like any other quiet evening. The sky was still, the house hushed and shadowy, broken only by the soft whir of the ceiling fan slicing through the silence. I was 39 weeks and 4 days along, aching, exhausted, and weighed down. Sleep had been elusive for weeks, and that night was no different. Then, at 2:40 a.m., a dull, steady ache began to pulse in my lower back. At first, I brushed it off as the same nagging discomfort that had plagued the last leg of pregnancy, but then it returned, stronger, tighter, sharper, as if my body had finally made up its mind. This is it. If you're watching this, don't forget to subscribe, and let me know in the comments where you're tuning in from. My pulse quickened. I sat up slowly, cradled my stomach with both hands, and whispered, "Jacob." He stirred, rolled over, and just as I opened my mouth again, another contraction struck, fiercer this time, unmistakably real. "Jacob," I said, louder now. He was on his feet in a flash, his eyes wide with both fear and anticipation. From there, we moved like clockwork. He snatched the hospital bag. I made the call. He helped me to the car like I was something fragile, and we sped off through the sleeping streets, the city still under its night spell. The whole way, I kept thinking, this is it, the moment I've dreamed of. I'm about to meet my daughter. Between contractions, I managed to send a message to my parents. On the way to the hospital, "It's happening, please come." It was instinctual, really, despite the disappointments, the favoritism, the endless way they put Ethan, my older brother, first. A small, stubborn part of me hoped this time might be different, that maybe they'd finally show up. No reply came right away. I told myself they were probably still asleep. Hours passed. I was admitted, hooked to monitors, the room bathed in sterile light. Then my phone buzzed. It was my mother. "Oh, honey, today isn't the best. Ethan's barbecue starts soon, he's worked so hard on it, and you know how much this means to him. We'll come by tomorrow." I read the message once, then again, and again. My throat tightened, my chest ached. It was like someone had reached in and squeezed my heart until it cracked. Surely this couldn't be happening. Jacob noticed. He took the phone, read the message, and clenched his jaw. "You've got to be kidding," he said under his breath. But I couldn't respond. I just lay there, on the brink of the most profound and grueling moment of my life, knowing the two people who were meant to love me most had just told me, "We have better plans." It shouldn't have shocked me, not really. Ethan was always the chosen one. When he dropped out of college, they paid for another try at a fancy school. When he lost his job, they covered his rent for almost a year. Every milestone, every crisis, every party, it was always about Ethan. And me? I was always in the background. But this wasn't just about being overlooked. This was a wound I couldn't make sense of. The hours dragged, the pain sharpened, and through it all, I kept imagining the things that didn't happen. My mother brushing the hair from my face like she used to when I was sick. My father pacing outside the room, waiting for the announcement, "It's a girl." The flowers, the smiles, the first photo of 3 generations together. Instead, there was only Jacob, steady, unwavering. He held my hand through every contraction, told me I was powerful, that I was doing something incredible. Nurses came and went, adjusting monitors, checking numbers. But the emptiness, where my parents should have been, was louder than any machine. It wasn't just physical absence, it was something deeper, something stolen. Then, at 6:22 p.m., I brought our daughter into the world. A perfect, wriggling, radiant little being. We named her Era, after Jupiter's moon, because like the moon, she was full of mystery and brilliance and quiet strength. As they laid her against my chest, I cried. Tears of joy, and also of grief. Because the people who brought me into this world had chosen not to be there when I brought someone new into it. After some rest, Jacob picked up the phone. His voice was low, steady, and strained. I could see the tension in Jacob's face, how hard he was working not to explode. "She's here," he said, voice flat. "You missed it." There was a pause. Then he added, "No, she's not ready for visitors. She doesn't want to see anyone right now." And he was right. I didn't. 3 days later, a package arrived at the hospital. A flimsy gift bag, clearly thrown together at the last minute. Inside, a stuffed bear, a pack of onesies, and a card that read, "Congratulations. So proud of you. Can't wait to meet her. Sorry we missed it. Ethan's barbecue was incredible. He made those ribs you love. Talk soon. Love, Mom and Dad." Ribs. They skipped the birth of their granddaughter for ribs. That night, with Era curled in the crook of my arm, I made myself a promise. She would never feel invisible the way I had. And my parents? They would never forget the choice they made. If they could value grilled meat over their own daughter's milestone, I could choose my daughter over the fantasy of parents I no longer recognized. But that wasn't the end. It was the beginning. Because something inside me shifted, and what followed would catch them completely off guard. 3 quiet weeks passed. Era and I slowly found our rhythm. Sleepless nights melted into soft sunrises, and in the hush of a 3 a.m. feeding, clarity cut through like light through fog. I didn't need apologies. Not dramatic reconciliations or performative regret. I needed something my parents never gave me, presence. Still, their texts arrived like clockwork. "Can we come today? We miss her already." Miss her? They hadn't even met her. They didn't miss Era. They missed the idea of being grandparents. The filtered, polished version, the one worthy of Instagram captions like, "So proud of our growing family." But real pride? Real love? It shows up. Then Ethan called. "You're blowing this out of proportion," he said. "The barbecue was a big deal. You know how much work Dad put into it." I asked him, calmly, directly, was it more important than Era being born? He didn't answer, just mumbled something about not making it worse. I hung up. That night, I wrote a letter, not angry, just clear. I told them I no longer expected anything, least of all understanding. I explained what it meant to go through childbirth alone, without a mother's hand, without a father's comfort. I wasn't seeking comfort. I was closing a chapter. The last line said it all. From now on, I choose Era over anyone who didn't choose us. I sent the letter. Then I waited. Days later, my mother appeared at the door. She didn't knock at first, just stood there with another gift bag, looking worn. I watched from behind the curtain. She knocked, once, then again, whispered my name, then turned and left. I didn't open the door. A week passed, then 2. Photos from Ethan's barbecue surfaced on Facebook. Dad at the grill, Ethan raising a glass, guests laughing in the sunshine. No mention of Era. Not a word about becoming grandparents. It was like we didn't exist. Then, on Era's 1-month birthday, we surrounded ourselves with the people who had shown up. Jacob's parents, close friends, the neighbor who brought over casseroles during that chaotic first week. We took a photo, Era sleeping peacefully in my arms. The caption I posted, "Chosen family always shows up." No response from my parents. But Ethan messaged me. "So, you're making this public now? Congrats on the pity party." I didn't reply. I blocked his number. Time moved on. Then came Christmas. My mother mailed a parcel. Inside was a soft blanket embroidered with Era's name, and a note. "Let's move on. We love her. We love you. Please." I returned it, with the same letter I'd sent before. Only this time, I added one final line. "You had one chance to witness her first breath, and you chose burgers and lawn chairs." I never heard back. Some people imagine justice as a loud confrontation. But I've learned the quietest decisions are the ones that echo longest. True justice is living peacefully without those who hurt you, and keeping them exactly where they chose to stand, outside the door of your most sacred moment. Era will grow up wrapped in real love. Not love with strings. Not love for show. Love that arrives. Love that stays. And every time my parents think back on that summer day, I hope they hear the silence of the hospital room they chose to ignore. I hope they remember the daughter they underestimated, the one who finally recognized her worth, and never looked back.